Welcome to episode 7 of On the Shelf, the series. I am your host, Mike. Today, we have with me Kelly Guentner. Kelly,
Hello.
hi Kelly. Kelly is a huge Black Canary fan, among other fandoms, but as you could tell from the shelf behind her, today we're going to chat about that. How are we doing today, Kel?
Pretty good. How are you doing today?
It's Sunday. And folks, do not adjust your lighting. The filter, I got burned yesterday standing on a post for overtime, so it's red on purpose. I'm not embarrassed or hot. So, Kelly...
Except for summer.
You know, it's summer and it's been 90 degrees and it's been terrible, but it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Kelly, why don't we tell the folks at home a little bit about yourselves?
All right, well, I'm from Wisconsin, as you can probably tell from the Midwestern accent, don't you know? I swear to God, I never say that in conversation, ever.
That's okay. You had to get it in once. I appreciate it.
I did have to play into the stereotypes. I have been into superheroes since I was 4.
Okay.
And I was running around playing She-Ra. And, yeah. My dad was a firefighter at the time, and I was, for a very small town, I was very horrified when I found out there were no female firefighters. So apparently I was a feminist at age like 4 or 5. And I told my parents I was going to be the first female firefighter.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank God I did not have to make good on that promise. Someone else beat me to it. Okay. I would not be a good firefighter.
Yeah, it's all right.
I'm like 5'5". I'm kind of a marshmallow in the middle.
Listen, you know what? The idea, the fact that you had that goal and that motivation, speaks volumes about you even at age 8. So,
thank you. Yeah. So, and then I actually didn't start reading comics until my 20s.
Okay.
I always loved superhero cartoons. I love Lois and Clark, the animated series. Not the anime series. Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman.
Right.
Part of my club. When that came out, that was my gateway into Superman. Batman, the animated series, was my gateway into DC Comics.
Awesome.
And yeah, I mean, who didn't love that if you were around in the 90s? Like, if you don't love that, you probably hate puppies too.
Oh, puppies. See, but the 90s were a fantastic time for cartoons overall. There was a lot of good stuff. X-Men came out in the 90s. It was just all sorts of awesomeness.
So that was also my gateway into superhero cartoons, and yeah. So then getting into the comic side of things.
Yeah.
So I started collecting a little bit here and there. I was I told you this off screen, but I was a little scared to go into a comic shop because I was worried they were going to look at me and go, well, you're a girl, you don't know anything.
Right.
Thankfully, I've never had that experience.
Nah.
Ever.
Comic book folks are awesome. They're not like carnies. They're not usually weird and awful like the comic book guy in The Simpsons. They're actually there's some pretty awesome people.
So welcoming. And they're small businesses, and it is in their best interest to help you. But at first I just looked stuff up online. The characters I was interested in, I looked up like their most important story arcs, and I tried to find back issues.
Awesome.
Within my price range.
Of course.
Yeah. So Milehead Comics was kind of my go-to for a while there.
Yep.
And then Smallville came out. The Birds of Prey TV show came out, which I know a lot of people didn't love that.
No. I think it would do better. I think it would do better now than it did back then.
Oh, yeah. I loved it for what it was.
Yeah.
I still love it for what it was.
Yeah. And
that was my gateway into Birds of Prey. And even now that I love the comics so much, I still love the TV show for what it was. Their Oracle was spot on.
Yeah.
Their Huntress was an interesting interpretation of Silver Age Huntress.
Right.
And now I'm like in love with Helena Bertinelli Huntress, and she's amazing. So, but their Black Canary was they made some interesting choices there.
A little bit. But you know what though? I like they thought outside the box a little bit,
They
and
did.
you know, sometimes you can't. They don't want to go by the you know, the decades and decades of history, which I get, and sometimes it works in their behalf, and sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes, but like that the movie was amazing. I love the movie.
Oh, me too.
I loved it. I thought the casting was great. And people right now are like, it was terrible. But no, actually, I was a huge fan of the movie. The casting was awesome. The story was
Everyone
great.
says it was terrible. I'm like, did we see the same movie? It was fun.
It was fun. It was just like Shazam was fun. It was fun. God forbid.
Was fun. It was so the movie did its own thing, but they also got they had a lot of callbacks to the comics. Like,
yeah,
they did Helena Bertinelli's story really well.
Very well.
The flashback with her whole family getting murdered was just like ripped from the Greg Rucka version of Cry for Blood, which is my favorite Huntress backstory. It's such a so good, and that's actually they re-released that as a tie-in for the movie.
I mean, how could you not? Because it was, like you said, spot on.
So spot on. So, and then their version of Black Canary, and a lot of people had mixed feelings, but I loved it.
Awesome. Even the part in the fight scene where like she stops in the middle of the fight to she throws her the hair tie. Harley throws her the hair tie to put her hair back so she could continue kicking everyone's ass. I thought that was such a funny moment. Like someone's like, "Wait, her hair is down. We got to put it up." It was very like somebody really thought that through, which I thought was cool.
Because all those superheroines having their hair down in the middle of a fight, and no one's ever gone, "Hey, this is kind of a problem." I love that. That was like, you could tell, not to be sexist, but you could tell a woman
that's not
was in the room when that scene was written.
Zero sexist at all. That's fact. You know, I agree 100%. Dead on. So let me ask you. So why out of all of the Birds of Prey, why Black Canary? Why specifically Black Canary?
So that's a long and winding story, but I'll try to keep it as brief as I can.
Listen, this is your spotlight. This is a spotlight on Kelly Guentner and her Black Canary connection and her love for Black Canary. So what you got?
So I started out actually loving Huntress because of the Birds of Prey show, and started out loving Helena Wayne / Helena Kyle Huntress.
Right.
And then as I read up more, I also my love moved to Helena Bertinelli Huntress, who I still love Helena Wayne and Helena Bertinelli. They still have a huge place in my heart.
Okay.
And then I found my way to a little town called Metropolis, Illinois.
I've heard of that town once or twice. I think it's somewhere in the middle of like America. Nowhere. Ooh.
Calling it Metropolis is kind.
Closer to a Smallville, but I get why they called it Metropolis.
It is, and I love it. I love it for the Smallville feel, actually. It's a small town with a lot of heart. So I found my way to their Superman celebration because I also love Superman very much. Like, definitely one of my top 10 favorites.
Aces. Okay, good. So now we don't have to end the interview early, so okay, keep going.
Yeah, if I said I don't like Superman, you'd be like, okay, well, it's nice knowing you. So this kind of goes into my cosplay love. So I'd always loved costumes and dressing up and Halloween, and I didn't know cosplay was a thing. So I go to the Superman celebration, and I had brought a costume along that was way too warm to wear during the day, but I brought it along because I knew they had a costume contest. But I didn't know you could walk around during the day in costume. So I saw a cosplayer. Shout out to Robin Johnson, who is super talented. He, like you said, he's made your suits. He's made a lot of people's suits.
He's a swell
incredible
guy. He's a swell guy. He keeps himself in cape shape, as I like to call it. And he's very creative. And he is a huge geek like the rest of us. Not only literally, but figuratively.
Very inspiring. So he was the first cosplayer I saw out in the wild. So I'm walking down the streets of Metropolis. I see this guy in this amazing Batman costume, and I look, and my sister was with me, and I look at her, and I'm like, you can do that? when it's not Halloween and it's not their costume contest, and my sister just kind of looks at me like, I don't know, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
I'm like, you can do that here? I'm like, okay, well, this is my new hometown. These are my people. And then I looked at my sister. I'm like, I know we just got into town to do the festivities, but we need to go back to our hotel room, find a mall, and I'm going to put together a costume.
Right.
And so Black Canary was the easiest costume to put together. And like, I knew I liked her because of Birds of Prey,
right.
because the Justice League animated series was out, and she's pretty cool in that.
Great.
And yeah, she's amazing in that.
Great fighter.
Yeah. Great fighter, great attitude, everything. So I was like, that's the easiest costume. You get a swimsuit, you get fishnets. At the time, Hannah Montana was big, so you could find Hannah Montana wigs at Claire's, which was a thing back then.
Yes, I remember.
I'm dating myself.
That's all right.
I don't think Claire's is around anymore. So we went to the mall. I found like little fishnet gloves. I found everything I needed on a budget. I already had the boots.
Okay.
And walked down the streets of Metropolis. People received me really well. So I fell in love with cosplay and, had fun playing the role of Black Canary, of course. And then I went home and I'm like, okay, well, first of all, I want to do this character right next time and like upgrade the costume. And second of all, I'm like, well, I've read a lot of Huntress outside of Birds of Prey. I'm like, but I want to start reading Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
So then I started ordering the Birds of Prey, starting with Gail Simone's run, and I just fell in love because I fell in love with all the characters, but this character is the one that really resonated with me because, first of all, she's the mom friend, which I am.
Right.
I am the mom friend in any group of friends that I ever join.
Okay.
I just always love to take care of my friends. I dote on them. Second of all, she has a lot of bad luck in love and has made questionable choices in romance. And while I've been married for 12 years now, prior to that, I made questionable choices with men. So I can
Okay. And then she found Ollie, and then everything was good.
Well.
Ish. Well, good. Like comic book good.
She found Ollie, and he broke her heart several times, and then everything was good for a while, and then editorial stepped in, and then things got rebooted. And, But yes, mm-hmm. I love their relationship.
Great dynamic.
Warts and all, they have a great dynamic, and so that also I loved because she had this superhero boyfriend that kicked ass together, and he really respected that she was a badass, and he empowered her. He never asked her to be less than what she was. He never said, well, babe, you're kind of making me feel like less of a man because you can kick my ass, because she can. They both have their strengths that they bring to the relationship and when they're fighting together. And then on a more serious note, she's been through trauma.
Yes, correct.
So she's been through trauma, and she was kidnapped and brutalized and lost her canary cry for a while, and Oliver was dead for a while.
Remember that.
And so at the start of Birds of Prey, she was broke. She had made some poor life choices because she was really down and out.
She was in a bad place, yeah.
And it was really, the Birds of Prey story was really her coming back. And so I really related to that. And so my tattoo, which I will send you a picture of, on my ankle, I just got that last year.
Nice.
It's her symbol with the Beatles, Blackbird, the lyric that take these broken wings and learn to fly. And that lyric just encapsulates the character and that arc of her coming back from multiple traumas. And so I was going through a pretty rough time last year, and the character, I really relate to a lot of things with the character, and that was just kind of my talisman. Okay, I remember I've been through hard times before, and I learned to fly again, and I just kind of remember that this character gives me hope that if she can do it, I can do it.
It's awesome. That's great. It's always awesome when they write it to be relatable, and it's the things that they go through resonates with readers. It's amazing, and then the art and everything else is like the cherry on the sundae. But it's all about it's about the people behind it writing it, whether they're going through they speak of their own experiences, or they know of people who went through stuff like that, and it's great where people see that and they go, I get it, been there, I get it. It's awesome. I'm glad it's helped.
Me too. And it's my reminder. It's actually really funny because my first tattoo, and I pretty much made the appointment for the next day because I was like, I just need to do this. And my mom's not big into tattoos, but she was the only one available to go with me.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, you can go with me. So I asked my mom, and when I told her what it meant, she was, she was going to go with me regardless because my mom's off. And then I bring her, and so this tattoo shop's awesome, but first of all, they were doing construction in the front of the tattoo shop, so it looks kind of dodgy.
Okay. All right. So your mom's like, oh boy, where are we going?
Right. And like the actual rooms were really sterile. Really great. And then then we get there, and the girl there's a lot of swearing in the tattoo shop. It's like which is fine. I'm not offended, but my mom's a little more conservative than I am.
Yeah, I get you.
And so it's like the tattoo shop within the first 20 minutes confirmed every negative stereotype you could have possibly had about the tattoo shop. Like the tattoo artist is sitting there listening to like rap music with a bunch of swear words. Like there's a bunch of other stuff going on. I'm like, oh my God, my mom's probably sitting there like, what did we do? But the artist was, he was really professional with us. He got me in and out. This tattoo is really gorgeous. And he got me in and out in like 45 minutes.
Wow.
I know when I send you the picture, you're going to be like, holy crap. Cause I'm like showing people a picture of what I want. And they're like, oh yeah, it's going to be like 3 hours, or you might have to do 2 appointments, or like bring snacks. You might pass out if you don't bring snacks. So I asked if I could bring snacks, and they're like, what do you need? The tattoo shop's like, you can, but what do you need snacks for? I'm like, I don't know how long it's going to take. People told me I might pass out. I don't know.
That's great. I'm looking. Well, when you send me the picture, I'll wind up posting it on. Actually, I'll mush it into the show, and everyone will be able to see the tattoo in all of its Black Canary glory.
Excellent.
So that'll be sweet.
And now my mom's like the biggest fan of my tattoo. Every time she sees it, she smiles, and she loves telling the story. And she's like, "Oh yeah, and you were so brave. You just like held my hand, and you were fine." And
yeah, see, that's a good mom. That's a good mom. Supportive to the end, and now she digs tattoos. So even better. Kudos to you, Mom.
Exactly. She's awesome.
So Kel, let's do a little show and tell. Show me some of your prized Black Canary items.
All right. So let's get this one down.
Looks like a bombshell.
Yes. The sepia version of the bombshell.
Love them.
This was my Mother's Day gift from my loving husband.
Awesome. Good husband.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm always a fan of the bombshell line. I have the Superman Power Grow one.
That one is beautiful.
It is.
That one. Oh, yeah.
I need more shelves.
Same.
I'm looking.
I keep starting, or I started with like one shelf for my collectibles, for all my superhero collectibles, like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And now I have just the Canary shelf, and I'll just send you a picture of, I have a Wonder Woman shelf, and then I have a Justice League shelf, and then my Marvel shelf, I'm still working on organizing it.
Yeah, Krypton threw up in here.
So I have this one. Let's see if I can get it out without losing the base. I love this design. Like, you've never actually seen this, or this has never been in the comics.
No.
This design, but I really love it. This statue I'm a little sad about, or I have mixed feelings about this statue because the comic shop that became my local comic shop, and I'm still friends with the owners, closed down a few years back, and that was the last thing I bought from them.
Yeah,
was
it was a
really
good memory. I know. I've gone through a couple comic book shops. I sympathize. It sucks.
Yeah, it was hard.
I know.
That was the very first comic shop too. Like I
I
got
know.
hooked up with them through I volunteer for Heroes Alliance, which we mostly do kid focused charities, but we also try to do helping out the local community, and so
Awesome.
we'll do free comic book day. And so we did free comic book day with them several years in a row. So from through there I got to know the owners, and they're
That's nice.
amazing. But keeping a comic book shop going is hard.
Hard. Yeah, especially with everything going on now. It's even worse.
Oh my goodness.
You know.
So public service announcement. Do whatever you can to support your free comic, or not free comic. Do whatever you can to support your local comic shop.
Support your local comic book shops. It's okay. It's Sunday. It's 1 o'clock there. No, we're almost 1:30. So
Yeah.
support them. Even however you can. Even if it means getting the book shipped to you, support them. They're awesome people, and they're geek friendly of all things. So please.
Oh, they sure are. I actually have a friend who owns a comic shop who just hooked up with Librofm. So it's an audiobook
Awesome.
service, and so you can, it's just like Audible, so you sign up for it and then money goes to her comic shop. So you should see if your comic shop, all of you viewers out there, see if your comic shop has something like that, or if they're
Check it out. We'll
So,
post the link.
back-
We'll post links to it so people can check it out and find out.
Absolutely.
We'll look into it.
Absolutely. Okay, so back to
What
the
else we
show
got?
and tell. I am particularly a fan of this one because there is not much merch with her classic look.
Right.
Like, no merch with her classic look except for this. When I found this pop, I knew I had to get it. And then we have this beautiful little chest piece here.
Love it.
And I meant to pull out my comics, so I'll just have to take a picture.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of Birds of Prey comics, all the Green Arrow and Black Canary comics, pretty much
course.
all the Birds of Prey comics I own at this point.
Awesome. Good. I would hope so. Good. That's awesome.
Yeah. I have a fun Aunt Lucia story. Speaking of the bombshell,
Okay.
it's kind of more cosplay related than collector related, but you
You're
know.
a cosplayer. What do you got?
Okay.
We'll talk. I love Aunt Lucia's work. He has a Superman piece which I love, which I've been dying to get, and I just keep forgetting to get it. So I feel you.
Is that the one where he's holding Lois? Okay, I have a print of that. It is beautiful. It's
Awesome.
beautiful. It's the centerpiece in my living room.
It's awesome.
You need to get it.
I'm
It's
going to
gorgeous.
get it. I'm coming for it.
So Aunt Lucia, the year that Bombshells really hit, so
Mhm.
when it first started coming out, I met him at C2E2, and so I was like the first at his booth, I think,
Okay.
that day, because super fan, I guess. Little crazy.
Nah, not at all.
Yeah. So I was dressed as DC Bombshell Black Canary,
Mhm.
and Aunt Lucia is the sweetest, most down-to-earth guy. He did not realize how big the DC Bombshells are going to be at that point. So first of all, he saw me and his eyes just lit up. Like, I don't think he realized people were going to be costuming as his designs.
Awesome.
So he had to get a picture with me, and then he did not bring any DC Bombshells merch to the show because he did not realize. I think he also hadn't like quite worked it out with DC at that point, but I think he was also talking to me and like he hadn't quite pushed hard enough because he was like, I just did not realize it was going to be that big. So people were just asking him all weekend.
Oh, I bet.
And he was just so sweet. So then, yeah, but he was like just as excited to see someone costuming his design. And then met him again a few years later
Yeah.
with my friend who is, I basically got a friend to be my huntress to my Black Canary. And this was before his huntress design came out, and it was like right before. And so she's asking him, she's like, so when are you going to do huntress? And he just, his eyes were so funny because you could tell he wanted children.
Right. Yeah. He's like, it's like,
He's like,
right.
I cannot say, but
It's hard. Right. He's like
But
trying to blink with like do Morse code with his eyes.
but the 2 times I've met him, he just seems like he's astounded that his designs resonated so much. But of course they did. They're beautiful.
They're beautiful. They're beautiful, and it's always swell to hear when the artists are, they don't realize their worth, their work, and like how many people it touches, and how many people love their stuff. That goes with any business. People who make handbags and stuff, and they do it because they like it, and then people are like, oh my god, your stuff's awesome. So
And you look at his designs, and as I was doing the costume, every time I looked, I found a new detail that like spoke to the character, and I'm like, wow, he like hit a bird there. He hit a bird there.
He knows the stuff.
It's beautiful. So he was delightful. Next story I promised was my Gail Simone story.
Oh yeah,
embarrassing and hilarious. So something I'll send you a picture of this, but I have 2 things signed by Gail Simone. I have Birds of Prey, volume 1 of her run, signed by her, and then I have a signed script from Birds of Prey.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, is nice. Really nice. So the graphic novel, the embarrassing story with that is this was my second Superman celebration, only my second like comic related anything. So I was really, at that point, I just really started getting into reading comics, and this was, I think, the first comic writer that I actually was a huge fan of.
Okay.
And the first comic writer that I actually met and got their signature, awesome. And was a big deal. So I didn't really know how these things worked.
Okay.
And also at the time, I'm going to say this, I was pregnant, so I was hormonal, and, we're going to blame this a little on
baby. Blame the baby. That's fine.
Yeah. So my husband and his best friend were traveling with me, and somehow I got it into my head that, so I'm looking at this comic, and the page of the comic that I wanted her to sign was like this black. So I'm like, well, oh my God, a regular pen won't work. So I get into my head that Gail Simone is not going to have like
a silver pen, a blue pen, anything. No kind of just, she's got a black pen. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know. I got into my crazy pregnant lady brain. So I just keep telling them, I'm like, we need to go to a store and get a metallic Sharpie. Oh yeah, I think there's a theme here. So second year in Metropolis, and the people I'm with, I'm dragging them to a store for some crazy thing. Yeah. So both guys are just kind of looking at me like I'm crazy, but they're also they're not saying it, and they're looking at me like, don't argue with the pregnant lady.
Nope.
So luckily on the main drag of Metropolis, there was a Hallmark. So for hours, I keep bringing this up. I'm like, we just need to go. We just need to go. They're like, Kelly, I'm pretty sure she'll have a pen. Kelly, she will have a pen. And finally they're like, okay, there's a Hallmark. Just go, crazy lady.
Yeah, just go.
Go crazy, pregnant lady. You go do your thing.
Right. Don't hurt us. Just get the pen.
Yeah. It could be worse. So as I'm walking into the store, Gail Simone and her husband are coming out. And did I say something witty when I saw my idol? No, I did not. Oh, I was also dressed as Black Canary because even though I was 3 months pregnant, but I wasn't showing yet.
No, yeah, okay. Yeah.
So it was pretty awesome. So I see her, and the first thing out of my mouth is, I was just going into the store to buy a pen so you could sign my comic.
Wah, wah.
And sweetheart that she was wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
She was very, very nice. She got a picture with me. She reassured me that I did not need to buy a pen. That she had a whole selection of pens at her table.
It's okay, pregnant lady. Don't worry about the pens. Don't hurt me, but I'll sign it. Just come to my booth and we'll sign. It's okay.
Absolutely delightful. Her husband was so complimentary. Said I was the best Black Canary he'd ever seen. I'm sure he says that to all the Black Canaries.
So what?
That was my upgraded Black Canary from the year before with the swimsuit in Hannah Montana. So it was quite nice. And then then when we went to the table, then he kept talking about how great the customers were in Metropolis,
Yeah.
and so sweet.
Yeah, really nice
Both,
guy.
he is really nice.
That's
Like they're
awesome.
both so nice. And then we had a whole Birds of Prey group, and during her panel, they invited us to come up on stage with
Nice.
her. And like, I was just hoping to get a picture with her after her panel with our group, and we got to go up on stage, and it was the best weekend of my geeky life. And that was like my second. And I'm like,
Set the bar really high for that one, huh?
because we also got to meet Justin Hartley,
Mm-hmm.
and he also approved of my Black Canary and my husband's Green Arrow costume. I'm like,
Does it get better than this? No.
no, it does not.
It does
It
not.
was amazing.
So now, apart from actually putting, Gail Simone like in cryogenic stasis and keeping her at your house, if you had like unlimited funds or like, unlimited travel, or you could do whatever you want, and you were able to get like that one piece of your Black Canary collection that would be the holy grail piece for you, what would it be?
Flash Comics number 86.
It was an easy one, huh?
Oh yeah, and I've always been scared to look up how much it was, but I did look up how much.
And how much is it?
So you can get a 5-point copy for about $5,000 right now.
Okay.
So that's not terrible.
No.
It's definitely outside my budget.
Yeah.
But you can get like a 7-point copy for about $25,000.
Okay. So we'll post the links for the GoFundMe page after this.
Yeah.
So we can start on that.
Yeah. I'm no longer pregnant, but feel bad for me because I'm socially awkward.
Now stop. Come on. We're all a big family. You know that. You know how the cosplayers work and everything. So question now I've asked 6 people, including myself. If you were only allowed one shelf in your house, and I know you said you've had multiple shelves for multiple fandoms and such, and you could only put 3 items on said shelf. It could be big shelf, small shelf, it doesn't matter. What would those 3 things be on that shelf?
It would definitely be Bombshell Canary.
Okay.
And this beauty here, partly because of the connection to my old comic, and I think this little pop, the classic Canary pop, because classic Canary has my heart.
It's awesome. Hey, listen, it's great. It's great. It would be a good size shelf, and it packs a lot of sentimentality and a lot of memories for you. So I think it's pretty aces. Now, Kel, I believe the other day, you and I, this is obviously not our first time recording some sort of show. We actually had a show that we recorded on your behalf for you, which is called Drunk Comics. You want to talk about that for a half a second or two?
Yeah, so Drunk Comics is, if you've ever seen Drunk History, it's similar to that, where inebriated people retell their favorite comic story. And it is very fun. Yeah. I have had a blast just getting my friends and new friends, like yourself, come on, and it's been really fun to see which comics people choose, to see how they retell it when they're a little...
Not sober.
And my goal is once the world calms down a little, to eventually get some cosplayers in on going back and remixing the episodes and mixing in some cosplayer reenactments.
That'd be really neat.
Lip sync to
whatever they're saying. That'd be awesome.
Uh-huh.
I'm a fan. I would A, be a part of that, and B, support it wholeheartedly.
Yes, please. So also now recruiting for both Drunk Comics guests, if you're interested, and if you want to be part of the cosplay side of things.
We are going to put your contact information up there, so people, if they are interested and would like to be a part of that, either as a guest or as a cosplayer, doing a couple second or couple minute spiel, we will let them know so they can get in touch with you.
Excellent.
So, Kelly, I really want to appreciate everything you talked about today. I really appreciated it. It was awesome. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's been really swell. Oh, yeah, it's awesome. I love bringing people on and hearing their personal stories about, how they got into their comics and how they got into their heroes and their collections and everything. So it's been really nice chatting with you today.
Well, thank you.
Folks, thank you for watching. If you haven't done so yet, subscribe. Subscribe. It's right down there. It's good.
Yep.
It's fun. I'm trying to do this once a week, and so far we've been very good. I'm going to keep going. If you are interested in being a guest, contact me. The information is down in the description of the story. And we'll see you soon. Have a great week.
Bye.